Hello there, I am Nathan. Welcome to my castle. Who are you?
Hi there, Mr. Dracula. My name is Robert, and I'm from the North Sydney Boy Scouts. I'm here to have a chat today, just about
What, Jar? You're disturbing me. I was feeding on the women and all of that.
It's a really good time if you listen to it. I'm here. I've got a listening device for you to listen.
What are you selling, child?
It's this thing. It's like a podcast. You know, it's like
podcast?
you listen to it. It's for about an hour, 15
what?
minutes. And what it does is it basically talks about old movies.
Enough, child. I am Dracula. I am vampire. Do you think I'd want to? When would I listen to your podcast?
When you're napping, you know, for your many years. Like there's already I think there's about 13 episodes up. It's already in its teens, man. It's older than me.
Shut up before I eat you, child. What is this podcast called?
Classic movie banter.
Hey, Brenton.
Hey, Nathan.
So, something I really want to talk about today is how fucking bonkers Eisteddfods are.
Bonkers.
They're bonkers. But like, okay, so you and me, we've done a lot of Eisteddfods over the years, haven't we?
We've done many, but I know people that have done more.
Very good, yes. But I say we're veteran Eisteddfodsers.
Yes.
If you could call us that. But like, I just love how when you grow up in Australia, at least I'm sure you do this all across around the world, but like you and me growing up on the Gold Coast, I swear Eisteddfods were just like big dick measuring contests for schools. Like they'd always just try and out trophy each other in literally every art form.
Yes. Yeah. And every school had multiple trophy cabinets that were just full of these plastic shitty trophies that, you know, and sometimes there would be highly commended certificates in these trophy cabinets as well, but they were just kind of shoved in a pile up the back of the trophy cabinet to make way for the first places. Oh, it was...
But it was such a good... I don't know. Like, it was a crazy, crazy time. Like, I remember you and I went to so many Eisteddfods, and, like, some of my best memories growing up are from Eisteddfods.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we were in the speech and drama section of the Eisteddfods.
We did a lot of duo dramas, you and I together.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
How could I forget?
How could you forget?
Some of the best memories of...
It's how like you and I like really became friends like in the first
because
place.
And it was by chance because I remember the way we got paired was in year 3 we had speech and drama was mandatory and I think I was away the day that everyone was getting paired just to like do little poems or something together in pairs and I rocked up to class and everyone had been like just paired off and I was like, oh, who's my partner? And they said, well, you've been paired with Nathan.
And you're like, shit, who's this guy? Like,
well, I was, like, what, 10 years later?
Yeah.
We're like, oh.
We did a good run. We had a really, really good run. I remember you and I, like, our main shtick back in the day for Eisteddfods was, like, doing, like, duo dramas. It's one where you don't do, like, a 5-minute play, like, just, like, where we, you know, be 2 characters and that kind of stuff. And we go on stage and, you know, we won a lot of it. We got quite competitive with it.
Yes, we were. I think there was one we didn't win.
Yeah.
We came second.
Yes.
Was that correct?
And and that's when you and I called it quits.
Yeah.
Like, we've already lost our stride.
We've already peaked. It's only downhill from here. Yeah.
That's right. I remember you and I backstage in that moment just thinking like, we looked at our second place trophy and we're just like, nope. We're just like, we walked away, threw in the bin.
We were that fickle. We
were exactly that fickle. Yeah. But like, I remember out of all of our duo dramas, the ones that stood out for me was the ones that we had weird, like coincidental stuff happen. Like you and I did a duo drama about Steve Irwin, about a couple, like a married couple in their backyard just arguing over how like one of them doesn't like clean the house, whatever it is. And the
husband was having like delusions of grandeur that he was like a wildlife warrior and he was in the backyard wrestling a hose thinking it was, you know, a Western taipan or something.
That's right.
And Nathan played my wife, whereas I think I called you like my Sheila or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and like you had the funniest costume. I think it was so. I will never forget this. Actually, I remember because we never wore any costumes until the actual day, and that's when like we rocked up in our costumes, and I was like in like this like safari like khaki kind of gear. I was kind of looking a bit like dorky, and then Nathan rocks up in this full women's getup, complete with like a perfect wig, breasts,
And a bra.
And a bra. And I remember being like, oh, what? Like, I was like, oh, like, great costume. Like, this is going to be great. And then Nathan pulled me aside, and this still sticks with me because it's so funny. And it's funny because you played it so well. You were so serious and deadpan when you said this that it actually made me question it for a moment. You said, oh, like, it's really funny that, like, you know, like, we got this bra and stuff, and, like, I got boobs. Like, but Brenton, just so you know, like, I don't tell many people at school this. This is like in year 3.
Wow.
These are actually real. and I kind of like chuckled for a second, and then like you were like, no, they're real, Brenton. And I remember I just had a moment of, oh shit, are they? And then you proceeded to explain, like at like swimming carnivals and stuff, how you had like straps that you would like strap your breasts in so you could like go for a swim. And as it went on, like I caught on, and it was quite funny. But there was a moment where you kind of had me, the little year 3 Brenton, being like, "Is that possible?" And like, oh, so funny.
And you're just standing there, just dumbfounded. You're like, we're about to go on stage, and you're looking at like me, and then your mother, and you're like, what?
And then we went on stage and won.
And then we won, and then we did it, and we got that first place trophy. I remember we did it so well. You and I got invited back to do like this like whole this gala performance at the end of the Eisteddfods,
which was a big deal because. No one from the speech and drama section got invited to the gala.
In the entire school.
It was like out of all the schools on the Gold Coast, it was all like orchestras, dance teams, choirs. They're all like kind of group things, and then like some insanely talented like individual musicians. And we were like, they said that we were like the first like speech and drama thing that had ever appeared at like this huge concert, and we performed the Steve Irwin Crocodile Hunter,
and
like,
we did
piece, yeah.
And also the mayor was in the audience. Do you remember that too?
Yes,
he was there.
Yes.
Tom Tate, or no, it wasn't Tom Tate back then. It would have been someone else.
Ron, what's his name?
The other one before him.
Yeah,
he was like, he was a mayor for like a decade or something like that.
Yeah,
and I remember literally looking at him in the audience, and I remember being 10 years old on this stage in front of like maybe like 500 people.
Yeah, it was.
and I'm like standing on stage. I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? Like, how am I in a bra performing in front of the mayor as some 10-year-old child?
And watching like his friend wrestle with a fucking hose. And, like,
that's right, because you had like a pet snake, like a stuffed animal snake.
Yes.
That you thought was the actual snake.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Like, it was good.
It was, I forgot about that gala thing, man. Like, that's so funny. And we're backstage, and there's all like there's like hundreds of people backstage, and there's all these dance teams, and their teachers are being like, you know, like Hitler being like, don't eat the chocolate.
Oh my god, yes,
perfect.
like all
like,
that.
Turn your feet out, fuck. And we're there. Nathan's dressed like a chick. I'm there, like in this stupid safari outfit, holding a stuffed snake. And they're like, "What? Who the hell are these two knobs?" Oh, what a memory! Dude.
Oh, what a memory! Like, and that's like the best part about Eisteddfods, because I remember like for a lot of the choir stuff that you and I did, we were in a lot of choirs together, and whenever we were backstage, like our choir teachers were so anal about like, you know, noise levels and about like behaving backstage and that kind of stuff. And you always be like queued up in those lines on the side of the stage.
Dude, do you remember we got like a private dressing room? Like everyone else had like these huge like halls of like where everyone like, you know, got ready and practiced as a choir, and then we had like by stage door, it was like this like little like dressing room with like a proper dressing room, which, you know, would be in like because it was a professional theater, like it was like a proper dressing room, and everyone else is like shoved in like these warehouses out the back, and we were just sitting in there going, how did we get here? I remember how far we've come.
I was like, I think this was like our second ever Duo drama, because we started in year 4 and this was year 5 that we did it. We did like a random one in year 4, and then we did this one. I remember we were like, what the fuck? And we were so surprised by it. I remember the next year we did it, I was so grateful that we didn't, because it made that moment more special. But like, because like I was saying before, we've had weird coincidences with our duo dramas. Because I remember the one we did, the Steve Irwin one. We did that performance, and then Steve Irwin died.
Yes, yeah, that's right. It was like the week after he died, or it was around the same time, and we were on the front page of the paper.
We were,
yeah, like because and Nathan dressed up as a woman, me dressed up in Safari Steve gear, and
that's right. Because I remember coming around to your house because we were at school one day, and I said, oh hey, do you want to be in the newspaper? And I'm like, okay. And they said, you have to go into your costume again. I'm like, fuck, I have to wear the bra again because I found it so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I remember driving to the house, and I remember my dad, he was quizzing me about questions that the journalist would ask.
Yeah.
And my father, like, he was like, now son, what do you say if you tell them, they ask you that, what do you feel about dressing up like a woman? And I remember saying like, oh, I find it pretty uncomfortable. And Dad's like, good answer, son, good answer. And he was prepping me up for it. And then we arrived at your house. I remember it being the windiest day ever because we went down to the river where the journalist and the photographer were, and they wanted to do this like weird photo shoot where you and I were standing by the river. And because it was so windy, my long brown hair wig kept on just flying in front of my face. And I lost my wig so many times in that photo shoot.
Do you still have that art? Like, surely, I'd say somewhere, like in my parents' house, there is that article. And God, I want to pull it out because it was like front page, and we were like, "What the actual fuck?
Oh,
like,
it was
what
so
is going on?"
confused.
Like, yeah, I remember the first one too. Like, I don't remember what piece it was, but I remember when we won. Because we weren't expecting it.
No, it was very last minute, wasn't it?
We didn't put any, like there was work put into it, but it was kind of like, oh yeah, like, we're in year 3. Like, no one ever wins these things. No. Like, it's just like, and we rocked up and we won. And I remember, like, you and I were dumbfounded. And then, like, our parents were even more dumbfounded. Yeah. And then, And
we got up on the stage and everyone was, like, applauding. We both looked at each other. We both gave each other this look like, why are we here?
How did this happen? Who switched the scores? Like, yeah.
We're waiting for like the Oscars moment where like they read the wrong Best Picture out instead of Moonlight.
Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Yeah, we're just like 10-year-old you and me. Just like God, Moonlight won the duo dramas. Everyone's like, what's Moonlight? This is 2005.
Oh dear. Yeah, Eisteddfods randomly competitive for no reason but still, we had like the best experience out of it.
Didn't we? I genuinely looked forward to it because you got to take the time off school.
Yep.
And you normally got to buy some snacks at the art centre.
What the fuck, school? Like, oh, I'm doing an Eisteddfod. Have the day off. It's like. Oh,
do you also remember there was like this like weird favoritism when you got back from an Eisteddfod? So if like you were part of the orchestra that had won an Eisteddfod, I remember I'd walk around school and like I'd have teachers literally just say, good on you, Nathan. Like, good work. Like, well done.
Well done.
I remember like walking. I remember like, especially if you're in the music department. I remember I was one year I was doing like I used to play the viola. Believe it or not, I used to be a violist, Brenton.
Ooh.
And I remember I was walking around the music center, and one of the teachers came up to me and and he was like, "Oh, Nathan, the orchestra finally won last night." And I'm like, "It did." And he's like, good on you, Nathan. You really helped out. And I'm like, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
I remember because the big bands were like the things that had to win. Oh, that's where like all the school put.
It's like that all the school gets shut down. It's like the Chamber of Secrets opening. Like
yes. But one time big band won, which was like the A-level big band, didn't win. Oh boy, they weren't getting congratulations from the head of maths or like the Christian studies teacher. They were
but the pressure to win was insane. I remember
for them, yeah.
I remember like when you and I did orchestra together for that brief stint that you did the cello.
Yes, brief as it was, I left my mark. On the cello, it's fucking destroyed.
It's in a ditch somewhere. Like. I remember you and I would walk back from orchestra because our conductor was very passionate. He was a very passionate man.
Oh, and, I love that man. He's a great.
I love him too.
Wonderful man. Yeah.
Nigel's great.
Yeah.
But I remember like when we would walk back to the car park, I remember used to watch you just carry your cello and then me just carry my little light viola. And I'm like, being a celloist fucking sucks.
Dude, being a double bassist would fucking suck. They have to like drag that thing behind them. At least like mine, there's like straps on it so you can wear it like a backpack or like carry it like a suitcase, which sucks. Like you are correct. It does suck. But fuck, a double bass is like twice again or 3 times the size of a cello.
Yeah.
Screw that noise.
Yeah, fuck that.
Dude, I remember in like my last Eisteddfod, being on the cello with the orchestra, I remember my A string snapped on the cello. It went.
Oh no!
And like it was a piece where like the cellos were playing quite high throughout it.
Yeah.
And so I was fucked. Like it was either like I either just play all the stuff that's on the G string when it gets to there. Yes, the G string. Well, when it gets there in the music, but the solution was I was like, fuck, what do I do? And then I realized that behind my music, I also had a copy for some reason in my folder of the double basses music. Oh. And if you know, like, the bottom two strings of the cello are the same as the top two strings of the double bass.
Oh, I see where you're going. So
I sight read the double basses part.
Holy shit.
In the Eisteddfod.
Holy shit.
It was so much fun.
That's amazing.
I'll never forget that. It was so much fun.
I don't remember that.
I put the team at risk, but you know, we came through in the end. But like, yeah,
Brenton's a wild card. Like
again, I was like, that was like my peak on the cello. I don't ever need to pick up that thing again. Like I'm picking up the double bass, bitches. And I'm playing the top two strings, and that's it. That's all I know. Yeah, that was a fun time. Eisteddfods, man. What the fuck?
Eisteddfods. What a fun time.
But welcome to Classic Movie Banter.
We're here live from my house. Actually, not live. Like I don't know if we'll ever be live. But
live. Oh, one day I hope to be. It'd be
one day. It'd be easier. Then we could just
we could do a show at an Eisteddfod, like in between. Like oh my god.
Can we review an Eisteddfod, like a 20-year-old Eisteddfod? Like what's the archival footage?
Dude, we probably have that video of that gala performance because there's like DVDs of that whole. Like someone would have.
Oh, someone must. We could review it. Yeah. We're getting near the 20-year-old mark. Like we did that when we were 10, so that was like what?
Yeah, like spoiler sections. Just like holy shit, like that whistling of the snake.
Spoiler alert, Brendan hits the high note. Spoiler alert, we don't win the trophy.
Spoiler alert, there was no trophy.
Welcome. Yes, how are you going, Brendan? How's the week been?
Dude, it's good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been good too, actually. Yeah, it's been a fun time. You know, not much has changed since we last saw each other.
I kind of just want to dive in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same.
Like, because I feel like the reason I'm feeling good is because, and don't take this isn't how I actually feel about the film necessarily, but just watching this film, I'm feeling good for this episode, dude. I can't wait to get into this.
Same. Like, I'm really excited. Should I take the honors?
Dude, just shatter the glass. Go.
All right.
Just
okay, so Brenton, welcome to my office, my Hollywood exec office.
Oh.
And it's the 90s, and I'm going to pitch you a film I want to make.
Okay.
So it's 1990. So you know it's the 90s. We're listening to Nirvana, Spice Girls. You know we're wearing baby doll dresses. We've got butterfly hair clips in our hair. We're probably saying the phrases as if and totally because it's the 90s.
And we're sitting here in your office as an executive producer. Yep.
And I'm going to pitch you this movie. Okay. So Blade, made in 1998. 20 years old to this very day, Mr. Brenton.
Oh, it's eligible for a Classic Movie Banter episode.
Woo! Yeah. Yes. Woo. So this film is based on the Marvel Comics character Blade, who is a vampire hunter who lives in modern day New York, set in the current day, because there's a little now title card in the film. And it's about him hunting some vampires. And it's an R-rated romp, starring Wesley Snipes as he runs about New York and hunts down some bad vampires.
Good pitch.
Thank you.
Good pitch. It's a simple pitch.
It is a very simple pitch for a very simple film. So
it's
go.
Where do we want to go? Like,
Brenton, you rip off the Banter this time. I want to hear from you first.
This film is completely bonkers. It's fucking nuts.
It is crazy, isn't it?
It's completely bonkers. And I felt so good watching this film, though.
Oh,
like
same.
I was so in the mood for something that was just dumb fun.
Because I looked at the previous episodes that we've done. We have legitimately, every film has been a drama, except for Animal House in episode 2 and then Emerald City in episode 7. Every week we've done a drama.
Yeah, but I felt like after Emerald City, even though it wasn't necessarily a drama, I felt like, like having to recover from that film was like actually more of a drama than all the previous episodes combined.
It really was. Yeah. So like just jumping into an action film from the 90s, like a comic book movie as well, because we haven't done a comic book movie yet. I guess because we're like the most modern comic movie we can do is Blade. So,
and I've like again like I have no idea. I've never read any of these comics. I knew literally nothing about this character. I still don't know whether this is even a good adaptation or not. But dude, I had a good time. Dude, it's hilarious.
I had a great time too.
It's stupid. The script isn't that great.
No,
but fuck, it's got character. Like at least,
doesn't
like
it?
it's got and they just go for it, and the characters are zany and kind of weird. And when we get to the spoiler section, there's a couple of things I need to discuss. But it's violent, but like in kind of that fun, cheesy, awkward kind of violence that because these are effects from the late 90s. They're not and probably this film probably didn't have the budget of Jurassic Park.
No,
no.
It was. But this film made a profit back in the 90s. Like this made good money. Like back in the day.
I don't think it would have cost that much to make.
No, I don't think it did either. Like I remember it not costing. I think it cost like 40 million or something like that.
Yeah, that's not
bad. Which back then.
Yeah.
But I think the exact same as you, man. I had such a fun time with this film. Like it is just a great ride from start to finish. And it's also weird because like you see films like Deadpool, which is held as this breakthrough in the R-rated superhero film genre. But Blade was doing this 20 years ago, you know what I mean? And same thing with Black Panther.
I was going to say Black Panther as well, yeah.
Black Panther's like, the first black superhero film, all black and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, Wesley Snipes is black. There's heaps of black characters in this film. Like, I don't know why people have forgotten Blade, but this is the first true modern superhero blockbuster.
And it holds up. It's like
it does.
Like the effects don't.
Like, the effects don't. We'll get to that.
That's part of the fun. Like this film is just fun.
This film's just like it knows what it is. It knows exactly what it is, and you're just there for a fun ride. And it's definitely not for children. It is R-rated and a hard R-rated. Lots of blood.
There's lots of fucks and there's lots of shits.
Oh yeah.
And there's lots of blood and there's lots of other things that are strange. And
there's some weird fluids in this movie. I must say. Like I mean, let's just start with the man, Wesley Snipes. Blade. What a performance.
Oh, dude, I like...
Oh my god.
Okay. Like, the first scene, like, he just starts doing some zany shit sometimes. Like, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek towards the camera, kind of.
Yeah.
And you're just... It's great. It's so great.
Every line that Blade says is a catchphrase. He just delivers it like...
It's kind of like...
He's like, I'm a bad motherfucker. It's like, I'll fight you. It's like, you get me. Like...
It's great.
It's so good. And he swears and everyone swears. Everyone's like, get the fuck out, man. They're like, they're New Yorkers, but they're vampire New Yorkers.
Is it set in New York, by the way?
I'm pretty sure it's New York, yeah. It might be. I'm like 80.
Or is it like
no, it is New York. It is New York. Yeah, he's based in New York.
I was going to say it's either New York or if it's like a comic book city that's kind of like, I don't know. That's
no. Because, he lives in Marvel, New York. I remember that. Yeah, we'll get to that. So... Yeah, so Wesley Snipes, he is like fantastic. I love his costume. His costume is just all black.
It's great. And like I like his variations of the costume too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so good. And
he's so cool. Like he's so cool.
He's just so, and you know why I think he's so cool? You know what's so refreshing about this film is that it's the first it's a first in a series of films of superhero films. And there's no origin story.
No!
That's the best thing about it.
There is. And it's the most vague origin story. Yeah. It's like a minute scene at the start.
It's so quick.
That's all you get.
And after just like years and years of you and I growing up just watching endless origin films, that kind of stuff, he literally just, the opening scene, he just rocks up. He's there. All the vampires like, oh shit. And so you, the audience member, are just like, oh, this guy's here to fuck up some vampires. Yep. And that's his entire character arc.
And but like at the same time, because it does that, and we're not spending the first third or even some cases half of the film going through that backstory, it means that like there are some character revelations about Blade and the things he does, and just certain like let's say them characterful moments in the film that we learn something new about the guy. And so because we don't have a spoon-fed to us at the start, it means that, like, you know, and they're not like huge revelations because, like, they're kind of like planted throughout the movie, and you're like, oh, why is he doing that? And then it explains it later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still, because of that, it means you still like have that moment of, oh, what is that? And then once it explains it, there's a payoff to it, as opposed to, here's his life story. Here's everything up to now.
And it just builds and like all the premise of like all the other like the premises of all the Marvel origin films these days is like, is this character really going to end up being the hero he could be? It's like the premise of Doctor Strange is, can Stephen Strange end up becoming the Sorcerer Supreme? And then Ant-Man's about, is Scott Lang going to be the Ant-Man? And then you know, Guardians of the Galaxy's plot is this team going to end up being a team? Like, it's all just about them becoming the heroes that you know they're going to become.
Spider-Man Homecoming's like literally like, I just want to be an Avenger, and like that's the whole plot.
Yeah,
like
it's just them about like, are they going to be what you know? Spider's going to be an Avenger because he's in Avengers Infinity War. So like, there's a scene where Iron Man's like, you are now an Avenger, and you're like, you did not need a whole film previously to build up to that moment. It's like you could just say that out of the blue. So it's so refreshing just sitting down watching a film like Blade, where just dumb shit is happening left, right, center, incoherently dumb shit, and you love it. You lap that up.
Yeah.
And I
was just going to say on the Marvel thing, I feel like that's why, you know, kind of like let's say the phase one of all the characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is so strong.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the sequels aren't as strong, if that makes sense. Like for the individual movies, I mean. Except for Captain America. That's probably the only one that I'm like, oh yeah. Like Thor 2 kind of sucks. Oh, I haven't seen Ragnarok yet.
I think recently Marvel's starting to crack their sequels, because Ragnarok was excellent. I think Ragnarok's the strongest out of all the Thor films.
Wow, yeah.
Civil War's the strongest out of all the Captain America films. Although Winter Soldier's pretty good as well. But Iron Man 1 is still the best of the three. Like, it's a weird mixed bag.
You know what I mean? There was that period there where they were really struggling with those sequels and trying to make them relevant after, like, the Avengers. Like, that Phase 2 period.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree on that, yeah.
So, it's kind of refreshing to see something that goes, before, like, that formula really existed, it just throws it, like, it goes, we don't need that. This is what it is. Yeah.
Exactly, like, yeah. And, like, doesn't this, like, watching Blade make you lament of, like how superheroes films these days just don't have that authorship, like the directorial authorship that they had back then. Because like the direction in this film is so fun. Yes. Like there's all these Dutch angles, there's all these cool like just like spinning around shots. Like it's just
there's lots. And then the framing's all wide. Like it's all
wide framing because the fight choreography is fantastic,
and some of the production design's pretty good too. So
like you get also there's no CGI sets. Unlike superhero films today, they didn't have it back in '98.
It's so good. There's a shot actually where a certain character wakes up in bed. What's her name?
The love interest. Actually, she's not a love interest, is she?
Starts with a K. Yeah, she's not.
No,
starts with a K.
That's a twist.
Starts with a K.
In the non-spoiler section.
Karen was her name. And she there's a scene where she wakes up in a bed in a room, and just the way like the production design and the color was done, and then the shot composition was just like, it was like, wow, there's like a lot going on in this shot. And she's just waking up. Like, I don't know. Like, I just love moments like that in film where you just
It really struck you, didn't it?
Oh, but it did. It did in the sense of, like, it's this dumb, fun movie, and then they still have a shot like that. You're like, that's a great shot. Yeah. And it's Dude, I'm a weirdo when I watch movies. I'm like, sometimes I'll be in, like, a cinema. I mean, it's like, you know, sometimes we go and see a movie at the cinema, and Nathan's, like, rolling his eyes going, oh, fuck, I gotta, like, put up with this guy next to me. Because I go, hey, everyone.
Like, Brenton, put your clothes back on.
Look at that shot composition. God damn. Yeah.
Brenton, sit down. We're at a cinema.
Oh, well done, Roger Deakins. Love you, man. Yep.
This isn't even a Roger Deakins film, Brenton.
Oh, he's great, though. He's a good one. He finally won an Oscar. Did you know that?
Brenton, this is incredible. Sit down.
Yeah, he's probably did some...
families are looking at us.
What is this?
Brenton, we're at a cinema.
What is this?
Brenton, we're at a cinema.
I thought we were watching Up.
Brenton, no.
Oh, why is Mr. Incredible here?
Back in the pills, buddy.
Oh.
But yeah, like when you're at the cinemas, like, you know, you're getting, I can imagine seeing Blade at the cinema would have been amazing because because this would have been the first ever superhero film that was that modernized, you know, that like, at the time, I'm sure the effects were quite groundbreaking and all that kind of stuff. So
some cool action scenes too. Yeah.
Great action scenes. Like I love it. I also, and like, I just love how much fun all the characters have. I love that he grins when he throws his boomerangs. Like he smiles at the camera.
Yes. Yes.
Like he's
you know what I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah, I know what you're thinking about. Like all the other characters, they're like, oh gosh, it's Blade. Like they're classic henchmen. They're like, oh gosh, you know. They go up to the like Frost, the main villain. It's like, you know, Blade's coming, and he's like, it's all right. We'll be.
I really like Frost as a villain too. I think I think he's a lot of fun.
He is a lot of fun.
He's kind of psychopathic, sociopathic, just completely weird. But like,
and I love how they bring up the sexy vampire trope with him as well.
Yeah. And his my favorite character in the film, his side quick. I want to say his side Quinn because his name is Quinn. His sidekick Quinn. Round of applause, please, for this gentleman. It's so cheesy. It's so out there. It's so good. So bonkers.
It's so good. I loved
every moment of his performance.
He's just great.
There's no like narrative like thread to anything that guy does in the film. But it's like, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
It's so good. And like, and the villain's plot is so simplistic. You don't care about the plot at all. And it doesn't matter. He's doing what every villain does. He's there just to activate a thing so a bigger thing can come by, and he's the best and evilest. And like, it's a part of every super villain ever, really. And you don't care because like, he's just great. And like, I love his apartment. I love his little parties that he throws and like.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
And the film opens with such a weird party. It's like, this weird scene where this couple like goes to this underground club.
We'll talk about it more in spoilers because I really want to go into detail with that scene. But I agree, I loved it.
It's a great opening.
The whole opening of this film is just actually. This film in terms of pacing is pretty on point too.
Yeah, it actually did because it goes for 2 hours, but it feels like a quick 2 hours, doesn't it?
There's only a couple points that'd be like, oh yeah, we could have got 10 minutes off, or you know, like, but even so, like, who cares? It's still moving pretty well, and it's just dumb.
And because the characters having a good time, you're having a good time. Like, I love how there's like a weird obsession with sunglasses in this film.
Oh my God!
Like fun drinking game to play with Blade. Drink every time there's like just a reference to sunglasses.
Why is he called Blade?
Why is he called Blade? I guess because of the blade in his back, like there's sword. Which, by the way, is a badass sword. I love. So cool. Also, the effect of when he kills vampires with that sword.
Yes. Dude, it's like violent as fuck. Like you don't realize
so
you're kind of like, you're like, they kind of dissolve, and then like you watch like how they've like because it's like 98 CGI, so they've tried to really detail like this effect.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like they kind of dissolve to the skeleton, and then it kind of like the skeleton disintegrates. It's just fun. It's like you're playing like a PS2 game or something.
It is.
Yeah.
And I love also like how the cue of the film, like discount Jeff Bridges, his best friend.
Yes.
Like
or it was like Jeff Bridges or what's the other guy's name? What's his name? I love this. I really enjoyed this actor.
What's he in?
Kurt Russell.
Oh, Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
He could definitely be a Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell vibes.
Yeah. He's just like, he gives no shits in the film. Like he's just.
It's like they wanted Kurt Russell, and then they looked at the budget and were like,
we can't get Kurt Russell. Like, they probably did ask him, you know, because he is a lot like Kurt Russell. I just love like all like the weird inventions he comes up with to fuck up vampires.
Yes.
Like that weapon that they come up with that like, not really a spoiler, but that like turns vampires into like tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that effect.
Yes.
Is like
I was getting massive Schwarzenegger vibes from Total Recall. It was like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's all you need to say about that. Like, oh my God, it's so much fun.
It's great. It's just this fun. This film is just the most. I haven't had fun like this in a while.
There was a moment, and we'll go into it in spoilers, when I literally fist bumped the air, laughed, and kind of clapped to myself because I was like, it was such a fun, like, exhilarating moment. And on that, the moments of tension in this film, there's like probably 3 points in this film that genuinely have some like palpable tension.
Yeah, like on your seat, like holy shit tension.
Like well done. So, and it's kind of like horror-esque kind of.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Because the blood effects are gory. Like I was like screaming at some points because when the vampires bite the victims, like they really go dig into it.
It wasn't even so much that. Like I agree, the blood effects of like sometimes like the dripping of blood.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Like,
there's a scene I want to talk about with that.
It would kind of get to me, like kind of like you'd be like, and then you kind of feel a bit like, like. And I'm fine with gore. Like, I'm fine with, like, slasher house, like, whatever. Like, I can handle it. There's only, like, a few things, and it's always to do with drops of like drops of blood for some reason just get me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like,
I guess because it's you're more exposed to in real life. Like when you do bleed, it's normally just a couple drops. Like
maybe
that could be it.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other scene that
this transitions into therapy with Brenton. Like.
Well, the only other scene that's ever really, really got me that was just like brutal. Like I was like, fuck. Like I had to like pause it because I was like, Jesus Christ, what's that doing to my psyche? Have you seen 13 Reasons Why?
Oh no, I haven't. But
Spoiler
I know the scene you're talking about.
There's a scene in that, and it's
the whole show's built on a suicide. Like,
yeah, but it's fucked. Ugh.
My sister and my mother both watched it, and they said the actual scene where you finally see is it Hannah? She kills herself, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's horrible because in the bath, isn't it?
I doubled over. I was like, oh no, it was a bit too real. I was like, oh, that's hitting me somewhere. Like that's like, I don't know. It's more so the fact of like one, like the gore of it, and two, like the emotional impact.
Oh yeah,
like,
you're watching this teenage girl commit suicide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just go, oh, it just hits you, and you're like, oh. I know my girlfriend actually fainted when she watched that scene. Yeah, she passed out.
Wow.
Yeah, so
she just wakes up, the series is over. She's like, wait, what happened next?
Yeah. I passed out in Blade, but not from the gore, just because I was like, oh, acceleration.
I was loving it. I was just like, holy shit, this is amazing. You know what I also love about this compared to Black Panther? Because like Black Panther held itself as like the first big black superhero film, even though it's not because you have Blade. I love that like his blackness isn't relevant at all.
And neither's like hers. Like there's a bunch of like characters that are different ethnicities, because there's other ethnicities apart from just black people.
Oh yeah. It's a very diverse film.
It is. And it's never just like in your face.
No, exactly. It's so focused on just like doing just action scenes and just putting the plot forward, finding Frost. They never just pause to be insulted by a bystander or something like that, or have like.
Which, thinking about it, it's kind of ironic because the whole film's built off like vampires versus humans, which you could
have the race metaphor in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
because most of the vampires are white.
Yeah,
but
I know there's. But then Blade is like a a version of a
well, he's half vampire. Like,
and, I can spoil what's her name. I keep calling her what's her name. Because I'm thinking hard on her name, even though it's like at the tip of my head. But when you think too hard on something that you're like trying to remember, when you don't need to remember it, you forget it.
I feel you.
Karen. I can spoil like her like kind of, because like that happens at the start. That she's kind of like turning.
Oh yeah.
She's not quite as human as
she tags along for the adventure.
Yeah.
And I love that she wasn't a love interest. Like,
oh yes, yeah.
Like they generally have no romantic tension. Like,
which leads me to I really want to. I don't know when we can do it because I don't know when they will release, but I want to watch these sequels.
Same.
I really want to see where the fuck this goes.
Same. I really want to see it too. I know Ryan Reynolds is in the third one.
Really?
He is. Ooh. Yeah. I know. Didn't like Guillermo del Toro direct one of them?
He did the Hellboy
He
series.
did. I'm going to look this up because I swear to God this is an actual thing. Like, while
you're saying that, I'll also say, speaking of like famous directors, this came out in 98. I reckon the Wachowski twins were very inspired by this when they made The Matrix.
Absolutely, because this one came out the year before.
Yeah, or a couple years, wasn't it? What year? Oh, Matrix was 2000. Sorry, yeah. A couple years before. Like there's some like from the Black
Guillermo del Toro directed the second one.
Oh,
the sequel is directed by Guillermo del Toro, Academy Award winner Guillermo del Toro. Okay.
I want to watch this sequel and I want to watch it with you, Nathan.
I want to see it too.
We can't talk about it on the show.
No.
I feel like we got to wait till the 20 year anniversary.
2002 it came out.
Fuck.
I know.
4 years.
We're not waiting 4 years to watch this.
In 4 years' time, we will talk about it on the show.
We will.
But just so you know, listeners, Nathan and I are watching this. Well, we're going to rush through this episode so we can watch it straight after this.
I know. It's...
Oh my God. I'm so excited. Like...
Same.
What a cool franchise. What fun.
I know. And that's the thing. Like, the third one came out in 2004 and we had none since. Like...
Oh, this is the other thing. Blade in the MCU.
Yeah.
Could you make it work?
Let's talk about this. I actually literally wrote like this down as a thing I wanted to talk about.
Did you have like a... should we make this like a segment? Like,
let's make this a segment.
Like, could this character fit in the MCU?
Yeah. So let's call it Blade in the MCU.
MCU? Question mark? As in like you, Blade? MCU. Will you be... Oh, like... You got MCU'd. I don't know.
Let's call it MCU question mark. I love that one.
Yeah, I think that works.
And we're pointing to Blade. MCU?
Blade, will you get MCU'd?
I love it. We did it. We did it.
Nice.
Could you imagine? Okay, so let's imagine that this film was set in continuity with the MCU. Let's imagine that they retconned it. They said Blade 1 is now in continuity with the MCU, and he's going to rock up now in a future Avengers film.
It needs to be R-rated. It
has to be.
Yeah. So, and now that like Disney's bought Fox.
Yeah. Oh, so sorry with the rights. Disney has had the rights to Blade, like Marvel Disney had the rights to Blade since 2012. So since 2012, they've had the rights and they've just sat on them. They've done nothing with the character.
Does Disney have any other vampire characters?
Yes, but Blade's the most prolific one. They have Morbius, who's an enemy of Spider-Man.
True. I don't even mean Marvel characters. I mean, is there any Disney characters from all of the Disneyverse
who are vampires?
That are vampires.
I don't think Disney's done vampires before. At least not to my knowledge. Like,
dude, I was just gonna like.
They just start their own vampire franchise.
So what? Blade. Let's go with the fact that Blade's in New York. So MCU.
Yeah. So that's the thing. He's in New York. So like he's living about with Spidey and Doctor Strange and all that stuff.
This could totally work.
This could have like 100%
if Disney
work.
just went bonkers and was like, "Here's R-rated Blade." I feel
bring back Wesley Snipes.
They couldn't have him in the Avengers though.
Yeah, because he just literally like murdered them all. Like,
yeah, that's right. And also like the fact because Avengers is like kid family friendly.
Yeah.
You don't want Blade in there, and I don't want to see Blade in there being like some Disney character.
No, I don't want to see PG Blade. I think PG Blade would be shit.
Yeah,
maybe like he could have a home with the Netflix shows because you know how they're like R-rated but set in that same universe. Yeah, so I could, but imagine then because have you seen Daredevil or any of those kind of shows?
I've seen bits of them, and I've never really gotten into it to be honest.
Oh, okay, fair.
I hear like Daredevil's quite good, like as it goes on, and
yeah, like well, at least you know the character. So like imagine then from the Daredevil you've seen, it's just suddenly like Blade rocked up. So it's like Matt Murdock, you know, he's Charlie Cox has all been dramatic and shit about his like Catholic faith and he's all blind and stuff. The next minute rocks up Wesley Snipes' Blade just like hunting down vampires.
It'd be pretty cool.
I would love it, man. I would love it.
I still kind of want to film though because like I like this kind of like bite-sized snippet of like this character and it's just like a fun romp for like a couple hours.
Maybe
like,
it could be
perfect for like the MCU if we could just have a R-rated MCU.
What if he's
film.
the villain? Like they just make Blade the villain for one of the Avengers films. Like
he's got to swear. He's got to be like fuck this. Like,
yeah.
Fuck
Oh, he has to swear. Yeah. I'd love to see him team up with Deadpool. I think they'd get along quite well. Oh
yes, that would be awesome.
Like Ryan Reynolds, like he would like. He's already in the third one, so like they've already worked together.
Yes.
So like, do it.
Surely that could happen. That could happen.
Even if like now Disney owns Fox, so they could make it happen.
But even if Blade was like a cameo, or like Wesley Snipes was like a cameo in like Deadpool 3 or whatever, or like X-Force, whatever the hell they're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
I'd be content if he just.
I would love it.
And if he rocked up. And he did like the stupid Ryan Reynolds X-Men Wolverine or
he's just
Wolverine,
like cutting the bullets in half.
When he's got the two swords and he's like doing like he's knocking all the bullets back, which they already made the joke of in Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
But if they brought Blade back and he did the same shit or something and he actually succeeded at it, like there's so much shit you could do with it. That'd just be like hilarious.
That'd be amazing. Like fuck it. Now that I've actually because I've known nothing about Blade for years and I always knew it was like the start of this big superhero like with this thing, and now I've finally seen them. Like, how the fuck have I avoided you my whole life?
Like, I'd love to like. It's such a cool franchise. I'd love to play like video games as Blade.
Same.
I'd love to like.
Well, video games made now, not back in like 1998.
Oh yeah, like I'd love like a hack and slash like taking out vampires.
Oh, it'd be so cool.
And I know like Castlevania exists and all that shit, but like
this is definitely like.
Blade.
Blade. Like, also, like, imagine watching this as a kid. Like, you just like sneak a copy, and you're like 12 years old.
I think you'd. Remembering like back like early even like action films in the early 2000s, like I remember being like sometimes violence and stuff as a kid, because you imagine it worse than what it actually is as a child. I'd still think I'd have a fun time watching this for the most part.
Oh, same. I reckon this would be like when you have like your mates around for a sleepover and the parents have gone to bed and you're like, let's put on a movie we shouldn't watch. Like I'd happily put on Blade, and as a kid I would love this.
Same.
Like this is so good. Like, and I think also like this is probably the best vampire movie I've ever seen. I mean,
I've never seen that, and I wanted to talk to you about this in terms of there's the Gary Oldman Dracula.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Is Keanu Reeves in that as well, or is it like Tom Cruise?
I wouldn't know, man. I haven't seen it.
But everyone always goes on about like, oh, Gary Oldman's Dracula. It's just like it's so good, and
well, it's just because Gary Oldman's always good. Like,
true,
yeah.
But I'd like to actually see the film because, to be honest, like growing up, I was never a huge fan of vampires.
No, never. Me
I liked
neither.
werewolves. I thought werewolves were like cool, like as a monster.
Even then, you know what turned me off? It was Twilight. Like, because we were like maybe 10 or 11 one time became big.
Dude, I read the Twilight books.
Did you really?
Yeah, because I have 3 sisters. And
oh yeah, true.
And so they were always going on about fucking Twilight. I was like, I'm gonna read these books because I need to understand your bullshit. There is a moment in the 4th book that I put the book down and I said, this is bullshit and I'm never reading this again.
But it took you till book 4?
No, because the other stuff I could laugh off and be like, this is horrible writing, it's terrible. Like,
also, aren't there only 3 books?
No, there's...
Isn't it like Twilight, New Moon, and then Breaking Dawn?
No, there's 4. There's Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and then Breaking Dawn.
No, you are right, yeah.
So Breaking Dawn, and I'm sure you've heard of this, there's the moment where Jacob, I remember vividly reading it, he's found out that the reason that he's been in love with Bella the whole time is actually because subconsciously...
Spoilers for the Twilight series if you care.
No, you need to hear this. Like, listeners, everyone needs to know that this happened. This actually happened, and no one said anything. So, So
Jacob's a werewolf that loves this girl Bella, who's a normal chick.
Yeah. Actually, he doesn't love Bella. He loves her future baby.
That's right.
And he imprints on the baby that of Edward and Bella, and I think this baby like is never like going to grow older than like a toddler, like because it's like caught in that weird vampire vortex of time and growth, and you know it's a weird, it's kind of like Blade actually, but like but it'll stay kind of young for a long time, and he imprints on it like without its like, you know, it's consent, I guess. A grown fucking man that's also a dog imprinting on a baby, and everyone says like it's a love triangle between these 3 characters, and it's like, who would you choose? I wouldn't choose the fucking pedophile. Like, holy shit. And parents are buying this book for their little kids to like think like to their teenage daughters, and like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit. Like, and then it was in the movie. They did it in the fucking movie. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that there was no one questioning this bullshit. There was no one the shit that's on the news being about video games are bad for young kids and stuff. And I'm not saying whether like things are right or wrong. I'm saying that's wrong. I'm saying that like a book that like sympathizes with like a pedophile's plight, I guess, and makes him a hero probably is questionable. Coming from a woman that basically was fantasizing about having sex with vampires and werewolves. Holy shit!
God,
yeah, and then says, you know what? The vampire kind of needs to live this love triangle. Oh, I'm writing this book. I need a good idea. Like, what's the reason that he like likes her? That like we can make everyone happy. I know. He's a pedophile and he likes a baby. Oh my god!
So Blade is very easily better than this shit.
Blade, with all of its like zany shit and like, you know, bonkers crap that's going on all the time, wins hands down over the Twilight fucking pedophile series.
But most vampire movies, they're either Dracula adaptations, they're either Nosferatu adaptations, they're Twilight, they're Blade, and then there's What We Do in the Shadows. And like, and that's it. And and I love What We Do in the Shadows. I love that film.
I've never seen it.
What?
And it's one of those ones like my sister has told me to watch it and said it's a good time, and you know, she I don't think she's as quite a fan of it as you. She's like, oh, it's got problems, but like it's, you know, it's all right.
No, I agree. It's definitely not a perfect film, and like it's the pacing in the second half is all over
that's what
the
she
top.
said. She said the second half kind of tanks a bit in terms of like pacing, and
the second half it really drops off. But I still love it. And it feels so novel. Like, it feels fantastic. But I'd recommend What We Do in the Shadows. But
yeah, awesome.
But yeah, so compared to all the vampire movies, this is my personal favorite.
Yeah, I'd say so too. To be honest, and I can't think of anything. So
yeah.
Why not?
So should we rate the movie, Brenton?
Dude, let's rate it, and let's rate it at the same time. 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. 100%.
boys.
Oh my goodness! Please watch this film.
Watch it.
If you a Thursday night, absolutely on a Thursday night.
This is the best Thursday night film we've reviewed.
By a mile. I would love to come home at the end of the day, a long day of work, and just put on Blade. I would watch this film 10 times.
Such a good time.
It's so good. This is perfect film to get drunk with your mates with. It's perfect. It's so good to get drunk with your mate with. If you got your girlfriend there, watch it with her. She'll love it too.
Yep.
If you're on your way to go to a funeral, watch this. Any scenario.
Set it up in the car and just watch the first hour on the way, and then on the way home, watch the second hour. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This film's fantastic.
Especially when they're showering blood. That's the best on the way to a funeral.
That's what's gonna get you ready. Joking,
of course.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So
spoiler time. Thank God.
Nothing but spoilers. But spoilers. Let's spoil this film.
Oh my God. Where do you want to start? Let's start at the very start of the film. So this film opens with it starts with this couple just walking down an alleyway, and they're they're about to hook up.
Before you get into that, the scene before that is the origin story. I just want to say that scene in the hospital is really good. It's really simple, it's really quick, and it tells you everything you need to know about that character, and it's kind of well done.
Yeah,
and
really good.
We got it straight away. We can go into the next scene.
Because you've seen the poster, you're like, okay, I know this film's going to be about Wesley Snipes. Opens up with his mother dying. Okay, the baby's probably Wesley Snipes. Got it. She's
kind of turning into a vampire, ? She's been bitten by something. Clearly a vampire.
That's probably how he got his vampire powers.
His baby's born, and he as an infant, he watches his mother die.
Yeah. And that's all you need to know. Bam. And then you see this couple in the middle of New York go to this underground club, and he's kind of enjoying himself, and he's all dancing about, and they go to the weirdest rave.
She's clearly playing this bloke. She's
and it's so obvious.
He's tagging along, and then they go to this rave party.
It's so weird. Club. It reminds me of in The Matrix Reloaded, where they have that weird
the weird hackers club. That's
And it's remember how they had that weird rave in The Matrix? How they're all dancing underground that weird cave,
and then he meets Trinity and shit. And it's I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and
Neo. Oh my God, it's Neo. Yeah.
It's exactly this, but in some weird nightclub, and then they're all dancing about, and then you see the guy about to put the sprinklers on, and then you can see a couple of them he's starting to show their fangs, and then he's like, time for some blood, and then just blood spurts through the sprinklers, and the guy's like, what?
It's so good.
It's so good.
Zany. It's so... I don't even know how to describe... I wrote down... My note was... This opening's just fantastic.
It's so good. Also, it's so 90s.
Yes.
The music is so 90s. It's literally that. It's it's that weird techno 90s.
Yes.
Oh.
And then, my only note during this section was they're kind of I get that they're kind of toying with their food, they're playing with their food, kind of when he's like, what the fuck, and then they're all kind of at him and stuff, and he falls on the floor, and then at that point I was like, okay, just eat him. But then we have the greatest entrance,
oh my God,
of the main character Blade. Oh, it
was
just so
the
great.
Camera pans up and you see the bottom half, his legs and his cool costume, and it cuts back to the guy and he's looking up at him oh, and then you cut to Blade,
and then cut back to all the vampires' reactions to Blade, oh shit, is that him? Is
him.
That fucking
it's
Blade?
Him. And then they say, is it him?
And then we go back to Blade, and it's it is him, and then he just whips out that fucking shotgun and just starts going to town,
and they just start disintegrating,
and we go into that awesome action scene where we go into, I don't know, it's a little spa kind of
Wesley Snipes is a trained martial artist. He's a trained martial artist. He's got the qualifications. So he just whips out this amazing hand action and just starts beating them all up. And he's like, hi motherfuckers. And he's just punching them all out. And oh fuck, it's Blade. And they're all dropping F-bombs. That's so funny. It wasn't the blood that made me realize, because going in, I didn't know what this film was rated. I didn't know it was going to be R.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was an R-rated film. And so it wasn't the blood that gave away the R-rated film. It wasn't until he started dropping F-bombs. I'm like, oh, this is for adults.
There's something cool about I don't not cool. I don't know what the word is. It's just it's interesting that like the vampires, like given that, you know, like you have like Dracula and you have all these like ancient stories of vampires and stuff, and they're like these otherworldly figures that are like very kind of like, they're in that upper class, they're like in the 1%, and they're just kind of like, they're very Machiavellian, they're in the shadows, like ooh. And these vampires are like this young like rave crowd, just like, oh fuck, it's Blade, get the fuck out of here, and they run.
They're not even fighters. They're just like, oh fuck this guy, like they know the stories.
But when they go into like the bathhouse or something, like there's a shot where it's like, and it's like a little tiled kind of like circle area. With, like, there's like a panning kind of shot of the fight, and that's when like this action scene just like goes to the roof of just awesomeness, just cool shit.
It's just so cool. Like he tries killing a guy, but that doesn't work, so he just sets him on fire.
Yes.
And like, and then the police rock up and he's gone with the wind, and like he just keeps on rocking up out of nowhere.
And Quinn's in that scene too. He's the guy that gets set alight. Like that's Quinn's first kind of, you know, moment in the film. And like you don't
sound
think,
like a proud mother with him.
You don't think much of Quinn at this point.
No, you
don't know how fucking
but
zany he is at this point.
He's all gonna grow up.
He's pretty normal. You're like, oh yeah, he's just some alpha dude that's like, you know, like he's trying to prove how like alpha he is, and you're like, oh yeah, whatever. See, it doesn't really have many quips in that opening scene. He's arc, man. He's my favorite arc in the film.
He's just great.
Okay, next spoiler thing. Okay. My favorite, the quote of the film. So we're going into like the end, from the start to the end. We're going to like the end kind of like finale.
The final showdown with him and Frost.
And so Blade's been captured. I've forgotten her name again. Starts with a K. Karen's been captured. They're being led to Frost, and it's all downhill. It's all you're like, oh shit, like
he's lost the battle.
And so it goes down like this beautiful, like, you know, like beautiful like moving shot of like moving into Frost, and he's like facing out towards, you know, he's like evil plan, and then Quinn just starts to wander into the frame. And he just wanders, and he's looking directly at the camera, and he's got Blade's sunglasses on, and he's just casually strolling. He's in this weird suit with like a red shirt, and you can't not look at him. You're like looking at the villain, and you're like, surely this is intentional, by the way, because if it is,
this is very much intentional.
And he just slowly, you know, it's like the music's building, and you're like, well, what the fuck, Quinn? Like, what, you coming into the villain shot? And he just takes off his glasses and just turns to the camera and says, "Hey man, thanks for the shades." And it's the cheesiest line. This is the way it's delivered. It's like, hey man, thanks for the shades.
And he just gives like the creepiest smile.
And then it just cuts and goes into the villain's kind of speech.
And he goes into his little monologue, and then halfway through his speech, he threatens to cut off like Quinn's arms.
Oh my god, yes. He's like, hold out your arm. Oh dude, it was so cool though. They're kind of like bros, those two, even though like one's clearly a dickhead and the other one's, you know, is a psychopath, but has got some sense of, you know, intelligence. And he's like, hold out your arm. And he's like, oh, okay. Oh, what, why? And there's like, cause it's the whole thing is Quinn loses both of his arms and they grow back during the film. And he's like, so he doesn't want to lose his hand again. So he puts out his hand very tentatively. And then Frost like starts playing around with, oh, I'm going to cut it here. And then he goes back to swing, and then he goes, nah, just messing with your bro. And he like taps him on the ass or something. And it's just like, it's just great. And you're just like, oh.
It's so good.
Like, it's just, I don't even know. Like, this movie, dude, it's just fun.
It doesn't obey any laws whatsoever.
No.
Like, I love, like, it's so stupid. Like when, like, for one, the physics is completely off. Like, when, Blade's escaping the apartment with, Karen, and he throws her across the roof, there is no way in hell she would have survived that throw.
But I took it as because she's got the vampire, she's been bitten by a vampire.
Oh, true.
So I took it as like, okay, she's turning into a vampire now. She can cop a throw.
Yeah.
And she does.
But she goes fucking far, and like he just runs out. Also, like for all the police know, she's a pedestrian. Like she's just a bystander, like a hostage, and the police just fire crazily at both of them.
By the way, when the police first fire at Blade, and he's the quote. That's like another quote of the film.
There's so many quotes.
Motherfucker, what you doing? Like the police. Like,
he literally says that.
It's so good.
It's so good. Like, oh fuck, I love it.
I was gonna say too, in regards to like random shootouts and police and stuff. How the fuck has Blade not been captured?
Yeah.
Like, I get that he's a vampire, but he goes into the street and just starts like shooting vampires who, as far as the public know, are just regular citizens.
Yeah.
And also a lot of the police force apparently are vampires as well. It's kind of like... So
they gloss over that very quickly, don't they?
Starting like a mass shooting against like police officers, and everyone's just like, oh shit, like, and they're granted, they're like, oh no, shooting, and then they just go back to their daily lives as if nothing happened.
Maybe this is set in the Matrix.
Maybe, yes.
Everything makes sense. Could you imagine this was actually a sequel to the Matrix? Like they reboot Blade, they do it again, but the next minute it's actually Matrix 4.
What if it's like the prequel? What if it's like this is like the first iteration of the Matrix that's set like today? Like they're making the Matrix on like the computers today, and they're just playing around with it. Oh my god!
And they're like, you know what we should do instead of like just the weird 90s like dystopian city? Let's just do Blade. let's just have the public live in this. Like
maybe it's just like an alternate like an alternate program. Like it's like there's the main Matrix and there's the special Matrix. Just for the fun, the machines are like, let's just have Blade playing in the background.
It's like a sandbox mode.
Yeah. It's like The Sims. You've got like your main house and you're like, I'm just gonna make a little one over to the side and fill it with just people that I just
rather than trapping your sim in the swimming pool, they're just like
killing stuff. Yeah.
But,
like let's just have Blade play in the background. You just every now and you go in and you're like, oh, Blade.
Like, it's great. I love, but yeah, like the way he threw her, like there's a lot of throwing in this film. Like I love, like when Blade throws the little girl away from that's a weird scene.
You mean when Frost throws her into like through like it's like a little ice cream kind of parlor thing?
She should be dead. That throw should have killed her because this is a random little girl. Okay, maybe Karen survived, but this little girl, she gets thrown through glass.
And she should be like cut to shreds. Like, and she's just got 2 tear track marks running down her face.
Yeah, she's been thrown like 10 meters,
and he's all like, "Go home," and she's like, and runs off, and you're like, bitch, like your legs are both broken. They're compound fractures. Like then you're not walking.
It's so like I was like, so there's that, and then there's also like just how many like nightclubs there are in this film.
Yes.
That Japanese nightclub, the music was awful. I remember like when it cuts to that weird Japanese club where all those Japanese vampires are at or whatever it is, where Frost is eventually going to grab the hostages, and there's those Japanese girls on stage singing like shrieking like Achikana no tija, like they're going. Do you remember that? Like
I do. I remember the image of it, but I don't remember the music.
Oh, the music! I remember like literally just looking at it going like, "Fuck this!" Like this music is terrible. But like, even music aside, there's so many just random great characters in this film. But one character I want to talk about is the blob lady.
I knew there was. I was like, spoiler section. I was like, I'm forgetting something.
Oh my god!
My note is literally what her name's Pearl. By the way, her name is. I wrote down her name. They're like. Pearl. What was it? Pearl's like the librarian or like the data collector. That was it. Pearl's the data collector.
Yeah.
And Pearl. What I wrote down. What the actual fuck?
Holy shit!
So it starts off. This blob appears on screen and it's got a face.
Like at least maybe 5 by 5 meters. Like it's huge.
And you're like, this is Pearl. She's the data collector, and she's got this voice. It's like, and it's just like, and you're like, all right. Cool, and I was on board. I was like, sure, this reminds me of like, what did it remind me of?
X-Men Origins Wolverine, when there's an actual blob character.
No, well, yes, but it reminded me of, was it Mad Max? It's something like that that's just got a weird, fucked up, like, red, and it's like special effect that's like this person like as like a kind of creature that's still a human. Yeah. What is it? Is it Mad Max?
I can't remember any of the Mad Maxes, like...
Mad Max has got some pretty weird, like, Fury Road had some pretty fucked up like people.
Oh yeah, like weird. I don't remember any fat ones, but like
no, but there's something else that I'm thinking of, and I can't quite picture it. Sorry, but anyway, I'll keep. It reminds me
a little bit of Jabba, if anything, like Jabba the Hutt, like.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So like when she like strangles it with the. So yeah, it starts off like fucked up. You're like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then it turns into a torture scene.
Yeah, where like Karen just like flashes this torch on her, and she's like screaming,
and she's burning alive.
And then like you watch Karen, she's going too far, and then Blade comes up to her, he's like, Karen, and she's like, what? And she like turns the torch off, and you can see that she was enjoying it too much.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, like if she moves, like torture again. And then she kind of like, raises her voice, and then Karen just tortures the shit out of her.
That's the thing, she doesn't even do anything bad. She just like, she's about to like breathe at one point, and then Karen's like, nah, fuck this, and she just goes crazy with the torch.
What the fuck? And she's like, well, she moved. And you're like, no, she didn't, but fucking Karen, you're cool. Does Pearl die? Who kills Pearl?
I can't even remember.
Yeah, because he blows open he's going to blow open the door. No, I think Karen just like burns her to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then he's like, I'm going into like the library, and she's like, no, don't! And then she and she's got.
Also,
like,
I love I love the computer animation as well. It's very 90s as well. Like
oh my god, I love it. It's so Jurassic Park.
It's so Jurassic Park, isn't it?
The hacking scene.
Yeah, it's literally the Jurassic Park hacking scene, like the 12 blood or whatever it is. Like
the blood god that they're trying to resurrect.
Yeah,
and
there's like this weird cubic animation of it. You're just like, oh, bless the 90s.
It's so late 90s, dude. It's so funny.
It's perfectly late 90s. Like, yeah. And like the set design is amazing as well. I love how stupid Frost's bed is.
Yes. The cube.
Yeah, like this. It's like this weird like thing that seals shut, and his bed just opens. And when you first see it, it opens, and he's like, it's like airtight. Like it's like a sealed contraption.
It's like Vader's like contraption that he seals himself in to keep him alive. It's like that same kind of egg kind of shape.
And the bed lifts, and like he's in there with 2 other chicks, and he just like walks out.
And one of them's Blade's mum.
Yeah.
How weird.
That was a twist. Yeah. That was a huge twist.
How kind of fucked up is that at the same time? That you're like, whoa. And then
I don't think I was a fan of that twist, to be honest with you.
Oh, like it was kind of like, meh. Like,
but he ends up being the father. Like, Declan is Blade's father.
Is he the father?
Yeah, he said he's the one who fucked her. He's the one who bit her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Then why isn't... Because Blade... Whoa, wait. Blade doesn't look mixed race.
No. But...
He's very black.
But in a real life, there are couples who are black and white, and the baby's just pure black. Like, that's a thing.
True.
Yeah.
But he's like...
I'm pretty sure.
True, but I don't know. But then she wasn't even like... It just didn't... I thought that
Brendan's like holding up different shades against the TV screens.
But seriously, I was kind of like... To me, I thought they were like tricking him and that she wasn't the actual mum. And then I was like... Whoa, wait on a second. Are they just assuming that the trick is like she's black, she could pretend to be his mum, or is she actually his mum? Because like when it showed her face, like comparison of like her in the hospital, it didn't look like the same person.
No, it didn't. It didn't at all. No.
Maybe that's a twist for Blade 2.
And also maybe it is.
Guillermo. Come on, Guillermo. I know you can do it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to Guillermo. I can't believe Guillermo directed the sequel. But like also, but when he first sees his mother, I thought there was like a hallucination or a dream sequence. Like when he first lays eyes on the mother, and then she ends up being real. I'm like, oh fuck, this is a twist. Like,
yeah.
I did not see that coming.
In the white room, in the white bedroom. She comes out of the bed again.
Like she's just like the bed opens and it's just his mother.
Bed and your mother is... Oh god. That's Frost. Like you are.
I'm surprised he didn't say I'm fucking your mother, because I feel like that's something he would have said. Like,
I think he does. I actually think
like there's explicit words. Like yeah. Like but he does call him a motherfucker. So like,
and that I guess that kind of makes sense in the sense that like why he gives him the opportunity to like join.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like at that point, I don't really care because it's campy fun. But like when the villain goes, join me for like no reason, it doesn't make sense. But it would make sense if it's like, oh, that's my son.
Yeah, it's like literally a Star Wars thing, like I am your father, and Blade's like no, and then like Frost cuts off Blade's hand, just like dun, 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 and then Blade just falls off the building.
Well, he kind of does. He like slits his wrists and like is trying to make him bleed out in that contraption.
God,
thing,
when he was eating our Karen, I was just like, ooh, this isn't fun. Like. He's just biting into Karen, and Karen's like, ooh. I love how she's like trapped in the chamber with the ex-boyfriend.
It was. Oh, yeah. And then she just escapes instantly. That guy's just so useless that like, he can't, even in vampire form, he can't like do anything.
He just immediately beats him up.
She just beats him up and then goes and climbs out of the pit. And he's like, all he can do is, Karen! Karen!
And he's just shouting her name.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I love that.
I'm glad he came back too. Like, cause he had a small scene at the start, but it was still kind of impactful because his death scene. Yeah, because they're both like doctors just working on this random vampire. Yeah, and he's like, oh, do you reckon we go have another chance? And she's like, oh, I don't know, I've been thinking about it. And the next minute, like... Yeah, he just bites the shit out of...
the vampire corpse.
Quinn.
Yeah, burnt Quinn.
My boy Quinn bites the crap out of... I don't even know his name. Speaking of which, on that guy's behalf, though, why the fuck is he asking her? I know they're doctors and they're probably like, you know, they're pretty removed from like serious situations in a hospital and they've seen some pretty fucked up shit, I presume.
Yeah.
That all being said... There's a better spot to be having the conversation of, hey, can we try this relationship again, than over the charred, seemingly corpse of a person, of a human being, that she has got her fingers in their oral cavity and like feeling so around in there. And he goes, maybe it's sexual. Maybe he's like, oh...
You reckon it's another chance at love?
In my mouth. Oh, I don't know, but I was just kind of like, come on, man, just don't bring it up now. Well, wait till you both washed your hands and you're in the general room having a tea or something.
He's just an idiot. Like, Yeah, and they're all idiots. Like I remember the scene where when they're in the lab testing out all the different weapons, and then Karen's like testing out this vial, and then Blade leans in to look at the vial, and the glass explodes, and like his face is like literally next to this glass vial, and it blows up in the lab, and then like his face should be destroyed from that, but he just like leans on back, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't gonna cure me." She's like, "No, it's a weapon." I'm like, dude, your face should be obliterated from that.
Speaking of which, that serum's pretty fucking good, hey.
Oh my god.
And like so he uses it on he uses it, on 2 vampires on the way into the last fight, and it turns into Attack of the Tomatoes. It's just like
literally that, like,
and it's like that scene out of Total Recall, and like the eyes are bulging, and like their heads just got like 6 times the size of what they're meant to be. But let's talk about when because the movie's just like everything in excess. It like provides you with a little idea. It just gets
bigger and bigger and bigger. Before we get to the final fight, there's just one more thing I want to talk about.
Oh, good.
And it's the death of his best friend, like Blade's best friend, like Jeff Bridges. Yeah. And so it's a powerful scene, you know, his friend dies. I didn't see it coming. I'm like,
Wilhelm?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And like Blade, you can see Blade's visibly moved by it. But then after this really moving scene, there's such a weird scene where Blade just starts chopping plants. It goes for like a full minute.
I was wondering what the hell was up with that. And then I was like, I rewinded it. I was like, why is he doing, and why are we lingering on that? And I was thinking maybe it's because maybe like the director or whoever's had this idea, because I was thinking the plant is green and there's like a red flower on it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe it's like, is it like referencing the fact of like human nature versus like a monster in the sense, but like the monster's still a part of nature and it's like a parasite that they keep referring to, or like a disease that is infecting people. And there's this literal plant that's like this beautiful green plant, and then it has this red striking flower, and he's like, I'm fucking sick of this shit, and he destroys the flower as though he's destroying a vampire. I don't know, but he kills them.
I feel like you're really reading into it.
I know, but I have to, because I'm like, why is that in the movie? Maybe there's some deleted scenes.
Maybe there's a director's It's just like cut. 5 minutes of him chopping plants. Like we had.
I hate roses.
Die, motherfucker! I don't want no roses in my film. It's like they had like this like weird botany budget. Like they had like maybe they spent like $5,000 on plants for this whole plant scene that never ended up happening. It's like we got to get rid of these plants somehow, and like give them to Wesley Snipes, and he just like whips out the sword and he's just chopping them.
Probably just practicing, like he's practicing his martial arts, and they were filming it. He's like, dude, there's a nice shot in there. Let's just put that in. Why, mate? There's a chick in this movie called Pearl. I think we'll be right. So
then let's talk about that final fight, because
I just wanted to talk about that's like Attack of the Tomatoes, but like Frosters, or like 300 tomatoes in one body.
Oh my god, that effect of where the skeletons climb out of the skin, like the skeleton demons.
Dude, the effect of when he like his arm grows back, or like when he chops him in half.
Oh my god,
and then like goes away.
That is the worst. That is the worst special effect I've ever seen in cinema.
It's like if you squirted tomato sauce out of a bottle and then sucked it back in. I don't know. It's the
so fakest thing I've ever seen in cinema. Like, I remember you and me shitting on the skiing scene in Spellbound.
That takes the cake. It's so much more enjoyable and better. You're just like,
oh my god,
because the Spellbound skiing still like you're like, watch the Spellbound skiing. Like that's pretty funny. This is just. It's so funny.
It's so bad because like he just chops Frost in half, and it's his corpse just literally just jumps up, and this is like red funnel of like all blood, and then it just reattaches,
and he like screams all the way through it. He's like, oh,
it's so good.
Yeah,
fuck, I love that final scene, and also love when Blade like throws the sword and all that kind of stuff. Frost is just constantly saying like, well done, impressive, good throw. Like Frost is just continually to encourage him. And then the film ends just with this like really weird hard cut, just like of Blade just like in Russia. It cuts to Russia.
I like also how it's like, I don't want my cure. There's still work to do, but I need a better serum. And then it just cuts to Russia.
And he's just there, and there's this old weird creepy couple, and then it just zooms in on Blade, and then it cuts to credits, and the music over the credits is fantastic.
It's so good.
It's like bow 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 bow.
Speaking of music, I have to talk about the bit where I fist pumped the air and was like,
oh yeah,
clap. Okay, and it involves
was it the sunglasses?
It involves my boy Quinn. It's Quinn's like final death, like because Quinn's been getting limbs chopped off. He's been burnt alive. He's his face pressed into a moving train.
Oh my god, that was a great train fight, by the way.
Great train fight.
Yeah. Better than Spider-Man 3 train fight.
Quinn finally meets his demise at the hands of Blade. I can't even quite remember how it happens. Does he chop his hands off again? Something happens.
Yeah.
But no, he finally like chops him in half, I think it is.
Mm.
And then the glasses fly off Quinn's lifeless corpse, and Blade catches them. And when he catches them, that music starts, and he puts them on, like, does this smile and starts going ham on all these vampires. And oh my god, when he caught the sunglasses and that fucking music just like...
I know the exact moment.
I just like went straight into it. I was just like, I just started laughing and just like started fist pumping the air.
Same.
Just sort of like, it's like that ecstasy of just exhilarating joy that's just...
It's so good.
After a guy's just been brutally murdered, mind you. But it's still like... It rides that line, man. It rides that line of like that R-rated, just balls to the wall action with ridiculous kind of quips and cheesy one-liners, you know? It's a good time.
It's just fantastic. Like,
I got no other spoilers to talk about.
Same. I'm done with spoilers too. Yeah. Like, that's just... what a great time.
Blade 1998.
Blade 1998. So you know, hey, let's look at Blade's poster. So
check us a look.
This poster from Blade, it's him just standing there in full view of he's just covering up most of the poster, and there's some text above in front of Wesley Snipes that reads, the power of an immortal, the soul of a human, the heart of a hero. Wesley Snipes, Blade.
I think the slogan's pretty shit. I don't think it goes with the film.
No. Is that meant to be Frost in the background, or is that Karen?
No, I think it's Karen.
Oh.
And I think, like, looking from my angle at the moment, the photo that they've used, like the studio photo of Wesley Snipes as Blade, it kind of looks fake. It kind of looks like a drawing, doesn't it?
It looks a little airbrushed, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's odd. I think it's not a bad poster, though.
No, I would have loved to see maybe his weapons in the poster, like the actual blade itself, maybe him holding the blade.
True, or even just the hilt of the blade on the back of his shoulder, so you know it's there.
Even like his boomerangs that he throws, like the silver ones, or like those silver bullets that he has, like that would have been cool.
It's cool title though, like in terms of the way they've done Blade, in terms of the
I love the font.
Text.
Yeah, the font looks very cool. I love the red theme of it. The red looks great.
Yeah, and then I like that it shows, you know, just him in his cool costume.
Yeah, it's literally just about him, because like the supporting characters are great, but like, nah, you don't need to have all the other... If this was like an MCU movie, you'd have like every fucking character on the poster, and like they'd all be like looking dramatic.
Quinn would get his own poster.
I would happily
buy that poster and I would hang it up in my room.
I know what I'm getting you this Christmas. Like,
yes, please. But can you get him like without his hands?
I'm just gonna get a frame from the film and just print it on like an A1 piece of paper.
You know what frame I want? You know I want...
Is him walking into the building.
Hey man, thanks for the shades. That's what I want.
If I print that out for you on A1 paper, you have to hang it up in your room.
I will frame it and I will put it up. And I will track that actor down who played Quinn and I will get him to sign it.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, so much yes.
Quinn's my boy.
Oh, he's great. No, I'm a fan of this poster. I think it does a job. Like,
good. Yeah.
I think better slogan perhaps, but yeah. So,
by the way, perfect title talk. Blade.
Yeah, Blade. Like,
great.
Yeah, that's all you need, really. Simple, sweet, short. You know, there's going to be... Well, wait, but hold up. Was there a blade in Blade?
There was many blades in Blade.
There were many blades, yeah. Like, he wasn't the only one with a sword as well. There were a couple other people with swords. So
there was a sick-ass sword fight at the end, too.
There was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good sword fight.
Good title talk. Done.
Done, Naruni. Nice. Okay, cool. So, now let's talk about what some other people's opinions are. So, let's see. Like people, what are they saying?
What are you saying, peeps?
What are they? I thought, you know what? I think the distinction, Brenton, between critics and audiences is a little bit harsh. I think all audiences have the ability to be critics. I think, you know, critics at their hearts are just audience members.
And to be fair, like ourselves, this isn't really a review show. Like, we say our opinions plenty, but we're not critics. No. We're two guys that like movies, and you know, we want to talk about them.
Exactly. So, like, I think this division, Brenton, between critics and audiences.
Let's mix them up.
Bring down the Berlin Wall. I say.
Yes.
Let them reintegrate. Let them fight.
Let those families see each other again.
Yeah. Let's reunite the careers and let's just put them together. So anyway, on Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter for Blade is at 54%.
Oh, fuck off.
Fuck off indeed.
Fuck off. No, I was I was expecting it to be at least in the 70s. Holy shit! Are you serious?
He was genuinely angry.
I'm shocked. I thought it was gonna be like, because everyone. I thought Blade's got a pretty good rap, from my understanding, from like people talk about Blade with fond memories.
I think it's aged really well, but
God damn.
Nah, Rotten Tomatoes has not been kind to it.
Tell me what the hell? What's the audience score?
78.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'd give it for an audience. Yeah. Yeah.
Your whole body language just shifted then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blade.
Starring Quinn.
So let's see what some people are saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ira says the Blade franchise should be every bit entrenched in the cultural conversation. Exactly. Yeah. This franchise. I don't know why people aren't talking about this film like as much as they talk about like the original Spider-Man or the original X-Men, that kind of stuff. Because this came out around the same time.
Yeah.
Like this is a great film. Like
it's.
I feel like people watch it today.
Maybe the sequels ruin it. I don't know. Maybe.
True. I know. Like we've really loved the first one. Like maybe the second. There's like the same thing with us and Rocky. Like maybe they just really go downhill. We're not there yet.
Dude, Rocky. I don't know where it's gonna go. I reckon he's gonna join the army, and then it's like the prequel to Rambo or something. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be great. Fuck, I'm keen for Rocky 3. Okay. Stefan, pardon. He wrote a great review. He said, "Great fun."
Yeah. Oh. Stefan nailed it.
Stefan is 78% the money.
Oh.
Aha. Oh. Catrice, I'm just mixing up the audience and critics, so they're all in random order. Catrice gave it 5 stars. She said, too good for modern racial obsessed trash. Whoa. Okay. So she's saying modern racial obsessed trash is what we're seeing these days. I think what she's trying to say is that this doesn't care about race.
Yeah, I was going to say perhaps it's referencing your point before, is that like there's different ethnicities in this film, but you know it never references it, and these people just kick ass and are just people.
They'll do it in front of a swimming pool with rubber ducks. They'll do it all. What else? Trevor, he gave it 4 stars and he said, this movie is better than Black Panther. The whole franchise can't be beaten by the over-glorification of typical superhero movies.
I haven't seen Black Panther, so I can't
I have. That point. You know what? I had more fun with this than Black Panther.
Yay.
Genuinely. I think Black Panther is... Oh... Crikey, that's tough. It's like apples and oranges. Like... Well, not really. They're both black superhero films. I think... Black Panther's more intelligent.
Hang on a second. They're not. Yes and no. Like, black superhero films aren't really a genre.
Oh no. Well, okay. They're superhero films with black protagonists, I should say.
And I'd question whether Blade is a superhero comic. It's a comic book film.
Yeah.
But really, it's a vampire hunter film. It's a better version of Van Helsing than that shitty Hugh Jackman movie that came out in mid-2000s, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Or Dracula Untold or all that weird shit.
Screw that shit.
Like Luke Evans,
Ugh.
Fuck.
Motherfucker.
But yeah, Trevor, I can see what you're saying. I think I probably enjoyed this more than Black Panther. Brian gave it 5 stars. Brian wrote, critics eat a dick. One of the best movies ever.
I feel like the way he phrased that was kind of summating my physical and vocal response before to the critics rating on the Rotten Tomatoes.
It's true.
Page.
Did you write this review, Brenton?
What's his name?
Brian B.
Yeah, that's me.
Same initials.
Yeah.
Okay, Xander.
Someone else.
Xander gave it 4 stars, and he said, so who owns the rights to Blade? That's his entire review.
What a review. But you know the answer to that.
Yeah, Marvel Studios. So he's been able to be in the MCU since the original Avengers. They've had him for that long.
One day I reckon this is going to be rebooted, for sure.
Oh, I'm so... But tell you what, when they do eventually announce it, you and I are going to be so excited.
I'm going to be so pumped.
Yeah, they're not going to bring back Wesley Snipes, like they can't. But who cares? Like, I just want to see more of this.
Who could do it?
Who could play Blade now?
Terry Crews would be funny.
Oh, fuck, it'd be great. Even Tyrese Gibson?
Yeah.
He does some good clips in the Fast franchise.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah, real good choice.
Yeah, there we go. All right, we've done it, Marvel. We've done it for you. Okay. Matthew D, he gave it 2 stars, and he said, half the time it's good, half the time it's bad, and half the time it's so bad it's good. That may seem like too many halves, but Blade is not a film that's lacking in content. Most of it blood-soaked.
What a great review. Yeah,
Great
Matthew
review.
D. Matthew D.
He's on the Monday.
He's on the Monday.
Yeah, there you go.
Matty D's on the Monday.
Michael, he gave it 1 star. He said, Blade is often ridiculous, mostly poorly written, and surprisingly poorly acted too. No.
And? I get what he's saying. It's poorly written and could be seen as poorly acted. But it's got so much character. It's so much fun. Yeah. That's the point. Like
it's just so good.
It's campy fun.
Yeah,
And if you don't like that, sure, like give it a 1 star. But sometimes that's what you need. That's what we needed this week.
Yeah. Oh my god. Especially after doing Christ, Passion of the Christ, Willem Dafoe.
Last Temptation of Christ.
Oh my god.
You can't even remember the title of the movie.
Oh no, I genuinely blanked on it. It was literally the last episode we did, and I genuinely was just 3 hours of Willem Dafoe.
Even though you didn't get the title right, we can all agree that Harvey Keitel should have got the best supporting actor Oscar that year. He was robbed.
I wish Willem Dafoe was in this movie. If he was in Blade, could you imagine? Because the Green Goblin. Imagine if the Green Goblin was in Blade. He rocks up to the vampire apartment. He's like, "Out am I?" Blade just throws a spear at him, and he just explodes in the air.
Yes.
I wish the early 2000s superhero films had crossed over, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, early 2000s X-Men, like Wesley Snipes Blade. Ang Lee Hulk. I wish they all just were in.
Ang Lee Hulk with Eric Bana. Yes,
yes, all in the same universe. And there's some fucked up Avengers film made in 2005 where they all meet together. Oh, well, fuck! I wish it had happened. Oh, all right. I got 2 more. Rob gave it a bad review, and he said, "A reasonably diverting video game of a movie, but not successful entertainment." You know what?
It is successful entertainment.
Yeah,
and his
Rob.
first point's right too about the video game stuff.
It is very video gamey, isn't it? It could definitely be a video game.
But it's entertaining.
Oh, very entertaining. So take that, Rob. And then last of the reviews, Beamer, pardon me. Beamer gave it 1.5 stars, and Beamer said, "There's a few interesting concepts and an awesome opening scene, but it can't save this load of garbage from being another perfect example of why I hate the late 90s in film." So apparently Beamer's just writing off the late 90s in film.
I understand why people wouldn't necessarily like the late 90s in film.
It had The English Patient.
But there's still great films. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's still great films. But
I don't know what I mean. They've got... I don't know what it is about the late 90s. It's got that quality.
It's got a great aesthetic.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
like
the starts of that CGI is starting to come in, and there's still some weird production design stuff that's going on, but it's kind of being phased out at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not until the Phantom Menace that you start seeing shit getting really fucked up.
Oh my god, yeah. And that was 1999, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
the next year, yeah.
Next year it turns 20.
But then Matrix finally makes it work, I think.
Yeah, which both came out the same year. So it's interesting. Interesting how that happens. So
that's what the people are saying.
That's what the people are saying. What should we call this new segment if we're blending the audiences and the critics?
Pass it to the people.
Yeah, actually, it's a great title. All right, we're replacing it. Audience done. Let it be written.
Critics, what are they saying? More like pass it to the people.
Just pass it.
Pass it on.
Pass it to the people. So, Brenton,
what a great episode, dude! What a fun episode!
What a fun
film! It just put me in a great mood,
didn't it? Especially just this is what I needed. You know what I mean?
Yes. Who knows what we're gonna do next week? But, I'm excited to hopefully watch something else that's maybe different. Maybe it's the same.
I want to do another energetic, just fun film. I feel like we've done so many dramas.
At the same time, I want to save them. Maybe we should do a comedy.
Maybe we should do a comedy. Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how
we feel.
Maybe a musical. Maybe something to get West Side Story out of our fucking heads.
Maybe we do. We need to replace with a better musical. We're not doing Cats yet. We've got to save up something special.
No, we're saving Cats. We're saving Cats. Guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Blade's a good time. Watch it if you can.
Please, just watch it.
Tell us what you think, though.
Yeah, let us know if there's any scenes we didn't talk about today. We didn't really go over the train that much or anything like that. If there's any other scenes you want to talk about,
tweet at us. Email us. We love to hear your feedback.
We do. I'm at CMB Nathan, and you're at
CMB Brenton.
There you go. So tweet at us, and we'll tweet back and share cool kind of gifts with you.
Have some little Twitter banter on there.
We love doing that classic movie
Twitter
banter.
Yeah.
But
until then, Nathan, did you hear that? Something's outside. What could it be? I think it's a vampire.
I'm back. I'm here to suck your blood.
No!
I listened to your podcast.
No, don't.
It wasn't good.
Go to Jake.
I'm going to bite you.
Don't.
I'm here, motherfucker. I'll save your asses.
Blade, thank you.